This is the RockShox Pike fork that we fitted to our Nukeproof Scout Sport. We're upgrading some of its key components. You can see all the updates via the link in the description. Here's how we replaced the suspension fork. For this job you're going to need a 2.5mm, 4mm, 5mm and a 6mm Allen key. A file, hammer, measuring tape, saw guide, hacksaw and a staff-angled nut installer. Let's remove the current fork. Start off by removing the wheel, undo the axle and put the wheel and the axle to one side. Right, now remove the brake. Release the brake cable from the cable guide. Undo the brake caliper, undoing each bolt evenly. Here's a top tip, you can zip tie the bolts together onto the caliper so you don't lose it all. Next we need to remove the stem and handlebar. Undo the headset top cap. Now loosen the stem pinch bolts. We're ready to take the fork out. Just loosen the fork holding the spacers and top headset cap. Let the handlebar hang gently. Now let the fork out of the head tube. Okay, this is the exciting part. Let's install the new fork. But first we need to cut the steerer tube. Firstly you need to measure the steerer length on the old fork to match the new one, or decide the length yourself. Ours is 185mm. Mark the length on the new fork where you're going to cut. Now cut the fork to the desired length using a saw guide and a hacksaw. Smooth the edges of the steerer tube with a file, otherwise known as deburring. Now you need to install the star nut. Insert the star nut into the star nut installer. Set the star nut installer onto the steerer tube. Now strike the installer with a hammer. The sound will change once you send the star nut home. Once the star nut is in, unscrew the star nut installer. Remove the crown race from your old fork. That's if it's a split race like this one. Install the crown race onto the new fork. We like to line up the slot on the crown race with the slot on the top crown of the fork. Put the top cap onto the head tube, grease the crown race. Now hold the handlebar ready to receive the steerer. Insert the fork through the bottom of the head tube. Add the spacers, slip the stem on. Now screw the stem top cap on loosely. Now it's time to add the brake. These pikes are 180 direct mount. The old forks were 160 mount. We took off the spacer from the old fork so the brakes fit properly. We've also used shorter bolts. If you're removing a mount, see if you require a different length bolt. Undo the zip tie on the caliper. Now screw the caliper onto the new fork loosely. Undo the cable hose guide on the fork and install the hose tightly. Right, let's install the wheel. Undo the axle and insert the new wheel. Tighten the axle and that's the wheel done. You now have to align the brake. This bit is done by eye and you need to align the disc brake rotor so there's equal daylight either side and no rubbing. The final thing to do is set up your cockpit. Take the bike out of the stand, straighten your handlebar by eye. Now tighten the top cap bolt, just nip it up, don't over tighten it. Now tighten the stem pinch bolts, going back and forth between them, tightening them up evenly. Okay, there you go, that's how we installed a new fork onto our Nukeproof Scout Sport.